What's the story, NXT fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story include Dijakovic wants the dream,
Kairi Sane's last match on NXT,
Undisputed Era drifting apart.
all that and more on tonight's Wrestle Story.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, and every Wednesday after NXT. We also stream after every pay-per-view and have special streams just before a pay-per-view, and may have special streams throughout the week as it pertains to news that may be coming up with information pertaining to wrestling.
So tonight it is Wednesday. We're talking about NXT. What would be your review of the whole show?
I didn't think the whole show was too bad. I thought overall it was a solid show.
I'm excited for next week. With all the matches they announced, I'm really excited for next week. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but I'm excited for next week.
Definitely, I think that they got some stuff that they've got going. There's the good thing about NXT is they create storylines and they follow them.
Yeah.
And so I think that right now, out of all of what WWE has going on for them, at least out of the big three, that we watch, NXT is probably the best out of the three that we actually sit down and watch. So, storylines. The only thing is, with NXT, sometimes they do a lot of recapping, and that's the only bad thing about it. But I thought tonight, they created some storylines. They have some things that are happening.
They do, and I'm really excited. So, I'm really excited for the coming weeks to see what happens.
Definitely.
So, with that being said, the show opened with the match between Velveteen Dream and Buddy Murphy for the North American Championship. After thinking about it some more, I decided that the logical choice would be Velveteen Dream to win this match. And as we were sitting around there on the couch, I was like, it makes no sense to put the belt on Buddy Murphy. So Velveteen Dream is going to have to retain. And he did. He did end up retaining his North American Championship, which wasn't a shock.
No, I mean, it was kind of expected, considering Buddy Murphy's now going up to the main
and they
roster.
even had his nameplate as the SmackDown Live.
Yeah,
Sane.
So, it was expected he was going up, so I didn't expect him to win this match. However, the one thing I will say, the last two matches that the Dream has had, I don't understand what they're doing with him, because he's taken a beating and then somehow, lands one shot and wins.
Yeah.
I suppose, that could, feed into, the title, Velveteen Dream. One shot, he puts you out and puts you to sleep, and it's over.
I guess.
I don't know. But overall, it was a good match.
It was.
I
thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of back and forth. I love all the stuff that Buddy Murphy does.
Well, the Velveteen Dream usually puts on a good match, too.
And
so.
They both do. They're both really good in ring, so you can't really be disappointed when either of them are in the ring.
No.
So it was a good match, and it was exciting to see. Next, we have a Street Profits backstage segment. So they're backstage. They're saying, hey, we're going to go to GM Regal and ask him for a tag team championship match. And as they're about to walk in the door, out come the War Raiders.
/ Viking Experience.
I'm not calling them that. War Raiders. Out comes War Raiders. And they walk out of the GM's office and they say, we heard you talking out here. We already took care of it. We'll see you next week. Their championships are going to be on the line next week against Street Profits.
And
they have to lose them. They're on the main roster now.
Yeah,
under the Viking Experience.
I don't think they're they're definitely going to lose them just because they are now on the main roster. I don't see them.
It makes sense, and if they do retain them, it'll be very shocking because.
Well, the funny part about this was when they came out, they got War Raider shirts on.
They do.
So I wonder if this wasn't filmed before sometime, a couple weeks ago before they actually came up and became the Viking Experience. But then, because they have the War Raider shirts on, and then later in the show they refer to them as the Viking Experience. So I wonder if the video that was that they had wasn't filmed
The match itself,
a couple weeks ago.
But the commentary is put on after the fact.
Well, and then order that
But they also showed a recap clip of the Raw and SmackDown this week with all the people that got moved up.
Yeah. And
they were under the the Viking Experience. They were under the Viking Experience name.
Well, see, that's
you know how confusing this is?
Well, that's why I don't understand why they're doing this and why they changed their name. Well, obviously, it's probably Vince McMahon that wanted the name change.
It's probably because of war. Literally, it's because it has
that's
war.
Probably it, which is just dumb and
dumb.
I don't understand it.
But the weird thing is, you have Ember Moon on SmackDown, who is the war goddess.
Yeah,
that's what they're calling her.
Well, and
that's her gimmick. So why?
Who knows? I don't know. I don't understand why they changed
her name. So why is it a big deal for the War Raiders? But why are you not changing Ember Moon's name to the Viking goddess?
Well, we'll have to pay attention next week. Did they say next week or was it 2 weeks?
They said we'll see you next week.
Okay, because there's a couple that were in 2 weeks and things like that. So
hello, Violet. How are you?
Hello, Violet.
Thank you very much for
we're
hanging out and lurking.
We're gonna see what we can do.
Yeah.
With them, I don't understand the whole concept of switching the name, especially when, like you said, that Ember Moon is known as the War Goddess. So I don't get it. I mean, it was a good, and they come out yelling war, chanting war. So I don't understand
this is the third name change they've had. They were the War Machine, then they were War Raiders, and now they're the Viking Experience.
Yeah, and out of all three of them, the worst is the Viking Experience, and they put them on the main show as the Viking Experience. So,
dumb. People have ripped them apart because of it.
So then we have Johnny Gargano,
who returns to NXT as the champ.
Yes.
So exciting. Or maybe not.
He talks about winning the championship, and then of course he gets interrupted by Adam Cole
and the Undisputed Era. Cole comes out and he says, "I beat you. I beat you in the middle of that ring." Johnny then goes on to say, "You may have beat me in the first fall, but I'm the one who walked out champ because I beat you in the second fall." So, oh, Cole. Oh, Mr. Adam Cole. What are you thinking here? Because you didn't win. You didn't beat me.
And he said something about that's undisputed.
Yeah, that's undisputed. And then he talked about him being a baby. He said, he said something along the lines of, all I see right now is a baby standing in front of me complaining about why he didn't win and blah, 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 blah. And it was good. Then he said something about, I'm sorry that your little boy band isn't in sync anymore. It was really funny.
It was good. And
it was a good. Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano have not disappointed me with their promos that they have cut on one another and with each other over the last several weeks in their rivalry. It's great.
Well, and right now, this is what I think separates NXT from both SmackDown and Raw, is the fact that you have these people that can cut these promos, and it's a storyline leading somewhere.
Yeah.
This is a storyline that's leading to something. So, it makes sense. It ties into the storyline, and it's
so good.
It is good.
And, I'm like, I wish Adam Cole was moved up, but at the same time, now I'm kind of I'm okay with it because they're using him properly down in NXT. He's getting a good deal out of this, getting to work with Johnny Gargano, and they have great chemistry. So, I guess I'm happy.
NSYNC, boo hiss. Sorry, I take it you're not an NSYNC fan.
I guess not. It was a good joke, though.
It was funny.
It was good. It was good. You laughed. I was like, that's hilarious. Oh, boy.
So then, basically, Johnny's talking about...
Well, it was only... Okay, so before we get to this. When Adam Cole came out, he had Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly with him. Roderick Strong was nowhere to be seen. So I said before he came out, I was like, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that Roderick Strong comes out from like the crowd or something and attacks Johnny Gargano from behind?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious where they were headed with this. But, again, it's a storyline that's being created. It's something that they're doing, and they're doing it well.
No, I'm cool with them, not with the lame pun.
Oh,
I love
gotcha.
puns. Puns are the best, Violet. I can't believe you. Puns are my thing. I'm very punny, okay?
Yeah.
That's my whole gimmick.
I thought this was a good... the whole segment was good, even though it was, it
was kind of predictable, and you knew it was going to happen.
Well, it was
because
predictable,
if you didn't have the fourth member out there, he was going to come from the crowd.
I've complained a lot about having like extended promos that don't go anywhere, and this was a promo that actually went somewhere. So this was actually a pretty good promo.
Who are their writers? They should be fired.
No, they shouldn't be fired because they did a good job of doing this, and it was
maybe they should
awesome.
hire them
on SmackDown and Raw.
Raw.
So anyway, Johnny Gargano was attacked, and they leave him laying on the ground.
It was quite super kick to the face. I'll give him that.
Yes.
It did, but it looked like it hurt.
So then we have Frye versus Dominik Dijakovic. A couple weeks ago, they said this would be Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic.
I'll go back just to prove.
Why this was changed, I do not know. And the only thing I can figure is Keith Lee got hurt or something in like a couple weeks ago when they had a match.
Okay, so this is from the 13th of March. Okay, this is back from the 13th of March. Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic were supposed to have a match the week after that. The week after that, there was no match. What would be last week's date?
Last week would be the 10th.
4/10. Got it. Last week.
Yes, last week.
Hold on, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, it was 2 weeks ago. That they said that this week we were supposed to see the match between them.
Well, we were supposed to have the match, and
like
I said, for whatever reason,
in a row they've been telling us that we're supposed to see this match.
So the only thing
we haven't.
Again, the only thing I'm figuring is Keith Lee is hurt, or having some sort of issue, and so he hasn't been in.
It was on the 3rd of April that they said that Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee were supposed to have a match in 2 weeks. And before that, it was said that they were supposed to have a match the week, and then that was moved out to 2 weeks, and then they didn't have it then, and then they had it like.
So I'm guessing there's
2 weeks ago they said, hey, they're gonna have a match in the next 2 weeks, and so
there's probably an injury or something going on with him that's causing some issues.
They keep just pushing it out.
So
it's kind of annoying. If he's injured, then don't.
They bring Dijakovic out to wrestle this Frye, who I haven't seen yet, and he totally destroys him in like
2.5
seconds or something like that.
He get kicked in the face, and they were like, "Oh, how is that not a world record?" Like in NXT.
Pins him, and it's over. Then Dijakovic gets on the mic. I didn't think it was a real good promo from him.
I've never even heard him speak on the mic.
But
if I'm being honest.
He challenged the Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship.
Said, I see the North American Championship, so feast your eyes, Velveteen Dream.
Yeah. So
he's going to be the next North American champion. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, he might be. But he's got to get better on the mic because right now...
it wasn't a spectacular promo. It really wasn't.
And
like I said, I don't think I've ever heard him cut a promo.
I haven't either. So, you got to give him a break as far as that goes because hasn't had a lot of experience with it. So we'll see where he goes and how it goes and
see where he takes it.
So,
real quick, about the Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee thing. Like, if they know that if Keith Lee is injured, and this is why they're pushing it out so far, I don't understand why you can't just say that and say, hey, Keith Lee is injured, and he will not be able to compete this week. So then we can do this. Don't have people expecting to see Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic for weeks and weeks and weeks in a row, and you keep changing it last minute if he was injured. Just tell us he's injured, and then we won't be expecting something
that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
I agree. I don't understand why they're doing it.
I've been waiting for this match forever, people.
It is what it is, and that's kind of the way they're headed right now, so... We'll just have
That's
to
the
wait and see what
one
happens with it.
thing that kind of annoys me just a little bit. Don't advertise for Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic, then we don't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
So then we have an Undisputed Era interview. And basically Adam Cole is talking about, how Johnny Gargano should not turn his back, and that the Undisputed Era is kind of...
Always one step ahead of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then William Regal comes walking in and says that Johnny would like a match. And Adam Cole's like, basically saying, I knew he'd come around.
I know. When does he want me? When do I get my rematch? When do I get him?
And William Regal says, no, it's not against you. It's against Roderick Strong. And at that time, you see this look on Adam Cole's face, like, what? And so I think, they've talked about the Undisputed Era being like a cohesive unit, and the last couple weeks we've seen some things. Again, a storyline that's being used, that's being created, and they're using it. I'm expecting them to break up.
I am too.
But they've created this storyline so this happens.
What if next week Roderick beats Johnny? He then gets a title opportunity lined up. He then takes that opportunity, wins the championship. Johnny Gargano moves up to the main roster because he's already being advertised for it. Roderick is then the champion. Cole says, that doesn't fly with me here. You guys can be the tag champs, but I want that NXT belt. He then fights him. They then turn on each other. Undisputed Era starts to break apart. And they turn on each other. And we have Roderick versus Adam. They have a match. You could say Roderick Strong is going to retain. Adam Cole moves up to the main roster after he doesn't win. Or Adam Cole wins and then he's out on his own. An Undisputed Era.
Well, I think when they do it, I think Adam Cole is going to go out and be on his own and not... I think that he's going to move up to the main roster if they decide to split them up.
Oh, man, I want him to move up so bad. So bad.
So I think that's where that's headed.
I would hope that's where they're headed. And I would really like to see it done that way, where they kind of turn on each other, and then maybe, like I said, Roderick Strong wins the championship from Johnny Gargano. And then it's, hey, Bub, this is not what was supposed to happen. I'm supposed to be the champ of our group. Not you. You can hold the tag belts all you want, fine with me, but I want the main belt. And if I don't have that, it doesn't fly with me.
Well, I think that's where you're going to have the issues. They're going to split up that way. So then we have, after that promo, they have an Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne video. They basically challenge Candice LeRae
to a tag team match.
Tell her to choose a partner, and so the match was made for next week.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have Aaliyah.
So we have 3 matches already. We have War Raiders versus Street Profits for the tag championships next week. The Roderick Strong Johnny Gargano match next week.
And the Aaliyah Vanessa Bourne versus Candice
LeRae and mystery partner.
Yeah.
Made for next week.
Cool. So then they announced that Kushida will make his NXT debut in 2 weeks.
I'm so excited. I'm really, really excited to see what he can do in the ring. I've never seen anything of Kushida's, but everything that I've heard has been amazing. That he's, amazing in the ring. And if you've never seen him, you should. So I'm excited to watch him. I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm curious to see who will be up against.
Yeah,
because we just know that he's debuting in 2 weeks.
Well, I hope I hope that when they do it, they do make it a somebody and not just a nobody. Because the last couple weeks they've put some of these guys up against nobodies, and it's just been
not
a
good.
destruction. Mm-hmm. So then we have, after that announcement, we have the main event. Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. I think it's pretty obvious where this match was going to go as far as who was going to win.
Now, there was a stipulation that if Sane lost, she never gets another shot at the NXT Women's Championship ever. She's done. And when they added that, it was kind of it makes sense that she's never going to get another shot because she's not going to be on the NXT brand. She's on SmackDown now.
Yes.
What I found a little odd is they did not have the SmackDown graphic for her. They had it for Buddy Murphy, but not for Kairi Sane. They had her under the yellow NXT one.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, but, it's not a huge deal.
I mean, it's not a huge deal. Just little details that I notice.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do.
So, good match, back and forth.
At some point in time in the match, Io Shirai,
Kairi Sane.
Boy, oh boy. Kairi Sane. She had, taped stuff on her shoulder in the beginning of the match anyways, because she had, injured or whatever. And, Baszler had been targeting the arm the entire time, and she was about to do her, steppy thingy where her arm is, backwards, and then she, snaps it and, hits it and stuff. Steps on it. That's the word I was looking for. And, Io Shirai comes... Kairi Sane, rolls out of the ring. And Io Shirai comes running down. And, is like, oh no, Kairi, are you okay? Are you okay? Your arm okay? Your arm okay? And, Shayna Baszler then pulls Kairi back into the ring. And gets her set up to do the arm crunchy thingy again. And then...
Io Shirai interferes.
Io Shirai then interferes. And Kairi Sane is disqualified. Because... Shirai did not want to see her arm get broken. But then, Baszler being Baszler. And her team of Goonball and Goonball were outside the ring. And they pull Shirai out from underneath. And they're holding her back as she watches on when Baszler then destroys Kairi's arm anyways. And, then they leave. Io Shirai and Kairi Sane are left in the ring. I did see somewhere on Twitter that after NXT, after that was over or whatever, people were posting videos of Kairi Sane, they put up videos that they had taken if they were at the taping when they did this, and they put up videos and it was Kairi Sane leaving the arena and giving her goodbye to NXT, which is why I'm assuming it is her last match in NXT ever, because she's on the main roster now.
Well, she's done in NXT because I don't think they're going to do any more cross promotion. I know before when Bayley and Sasha had won the titles, they said they'd wrestle anywhere, but I don't think that
that's not happening.
Going to NXT and wrestling down there.
That's not happening.
So
which I think is dumb, because especially if you have women's tag teams down in NXT,
but that's just the way it's
why? The Iconics haven't literally been anywhere aside from Raw and SmackDown.
Well, that's what
they've been on Raw twice.
It's where it's going to be. They're not going to do anything down below. And I think probably a lot of that is because Vince probably doesn't like it and
that's dumb.
Doesn't feel that it's that important. That wrapped up the show. Overall, I would say this was again a solid NXT. I've been more impressed with NXT now for probably the last couple months, with the exception of a few which followed, and the few that were bad were just right after pay-per-views and NXT takeovers, and I just think that they just didn't take the time to create a show, and so they were kind of a recap basically of what happened at NXT takeover.
Yeah.
But I would say right now that of the three, NXT, SmackDown, and Raw, that NXT does a better job of creating storylines. They use their talent more wisely.
Yeah.
And they get the fans more involved in what is happening.
Yeah, I will agree. They do get their fans more involved. The fans chant. They address the fans.
Well, and I understand it's a smaller arena, but even as a smaller arena, I think that they do a better job of promoting and again, it's the creating of the storylines is what makes wrestling. And so when you do that and you have people that can cut a promo and can do all that, it makes it a lot more interesting and more exciting for fans to watch. So if you don't have WWE Network, I suggest you get it to, if nothing else, for NXT. Obviously, you'll get the pay-per-views.
Which are good too.
Yes. But it does make a huge, NXT. I like watching NXT just because.
I like watching all of it.
Well, all of it's good, but NXT is just, like I said, just has better storylines, and they do a better job with the storyline, at least right now. And maybe that'll change down the road, but right now, NXT is the best product of the three.
Cream of the crop, top of the cake.
With that, I think that unless anybody has any questions for us
that's pretty much a
or
show.
comments,
It's very straightforward. I'm looking forward to next week. We get War Raiders versus Street Profits for the tag championships. Assuming Street Profits are going to win there. You the same? You agree that they're going to win next
I
week?
think Street Profits will win just because the War Raiders are now going to be up on the main roster. So I don't
Johnny
think there's any doubts gonna
Gargano
happen there.
and Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong is next week. I'm going to say Roderick Strong is going to win.
Yeah.
Just because I'm going to go with my theory of he gets a win over the champion and then he gets granted an opportunity for the championship.
Well, and
then
maybe next
wins.
week you start to see the breaking of the Undisputed Era and Adam Cole interferes.
Or that.
So
One of the two. I'd like to see it go my way because I think my way would be great where he gets an opportunity at the championship because I feel like he's good.
he is.
Roderick Strong is good and he can do lots of good things and they just have to focus on it.
Well, again, it's a story writing. You have to write the stories and then the performers have to perform.
Mm-hmm. So
And I don't know how good Roderick Strong is on the mic.
I've seen him once or twice. He's not terrible.
Well, and that's where, you got to see him more to really get a good feel. This is why the Dijakovic thing that I said to him on the mic tonight wasn't good. So I want to see him do it more just so I can get a better opinion on whether he's legitimately bad at the promo or if he is for real. Could be potential there. Again, we stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to us. Hit that little bell button and to get notified when we do go live. Give us a like or leave us comments as to what you like or dislike about the show.
Yep.
And then that way we can do everything we can to improve it
Yep.
and make it better.
Next time we will be back is Monday. We don't have any wrestling the rest of the week. It's weird. Because, we went through WrestleMania week and we had, day after
Had
day
a lot
after day.
there for a while.
And now we don't, and
now
it's
we
kind of
don't.
disappointing.
Yeah.
So, we'll be back on Monday for the recap of Raw. Really, really excited to see what happens.
So
what
we will
happens, because it's the week after the shakeup. We'll see how everybody settles in. Oh, one other thing I will say. It was shown that the Heavy Machinery is on SmackDown. They were drafted to SmackDown.
Yes.
I saw that today.
So now you'll never see them on SmackDown.
It wasn't announced until this morning. So I did see that.
All right.
I think that's the only other news that I have.
Cool.
Oh, and then with the Sasha thing, once again, sorry, just gonna mention this. Sasha Banks with her whole thing. It came out today that she was mad about losing the championships, but they also found out that they were going to be splitting up her and Bayley, and so she was mad about that too. And so
that's why she's mad.
Yeah.
All right.
So
cool.
I just wanted that out there too because I did see that today too.
Yep.
Just
All right.
whatever.
With that, peace out.
Peace.
We will see you on Monday.